There is a difference between being poor and being broke. Broke is temporary. Poor is forever. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, you'll get an instant shot of knowledge from the famous best-selling book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. As usual, you'll get a bonus, so make sure you stick till the end. Ready guys? Let's go. Robert Kiyosaki's book was first published in 1997 and quickly became a must-read for people interested in investing, money, and the global economy. The book has been translated into dozens of languages, sold around the world, and has become the #1 personal finance book of all time. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about the author, Robert Kiyosaki, and his two dads. His real father, called in the book the Poor Dad, and the father of his best friend, called the Rich Dad, and emphasizes the ways in which both men shaped his thoughts about money and investing. Now, let's dig in a little deeper in the chapters of the book. Chapter 1. The Rich Don't Work for Money. Oftentimes people misunderstand the title of this chapter and mistakenly believe that it means the rich don't work at all. In fact, the complete opposite is true. The truth is that majority of the rich people do work very hard, but they go about it differently than most people do. Rich people and people who want to become rich work and learn every day how to put the money work for them. Kiyosaki also notes that having a regular job is just a short-term solution to a long-term challenge of creating wealth and financial freedom. It is fear that keeps most people working at a job. The fear of not paying their bills, the fear of being fired, the fear of not having enough money, and the fear of starting over. Most people become a slave of money, he said. Chapter 2. Why gather financial knowledge? The second chapter of Rich Dad, Poor Dad explains the difference between an asset and a liability and emphasizes the point that it's not about how much money you make, but about how much money you keep. An asset is something that has value, that produces income and appreciates over time, and has a market where it can easily be bought and sold. Liabilities, like the personal residence for example, take money out of your pocket because of the costs associated with them. When Rich Dad Poor Dad first published back in 1997, Kiyosaki created a lot of controversy with this statement. That's because, by definition, a personal residence isn't an asset, unless it appreciates enough to offset the costs of ownership. On the other hand, rental property, it is an asset because it can generate enough passive income to exceed the expenses of operating and financing the real estate. As Kiyosaki writes in Chapter 2 of Rich Dad Poor Dad, wanna grow rich? Concentrate your efforts on buying income-producing assets. When you truly understand what an asset is, keep liabilities and expenses low. You'll deepen your asset column. Chapter 3. Mind your own business. Kiyosaki notes in Chapter 3 of Rich Dad Poor Dad that the most people confuse their profession with their business. In other words, they spend their entire lives working in somebody else's business and making other people rich. He says, the primary reason why the majority of the poor and middle class are fiscally conservative is that they have no financial foundation. They can't afford to take risks. And his advices are, first, pay off your debts and start investing in income-producing assets as soon as possible. Next, stay financially healthy by spending your time instead of your paycheck and investing as much of your money as possible in assets. Chapter 4. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. When reading this chapter, it is important to keep in mind that Kiyosaki wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad as a motivational book, not to provide expert financial or tax advice. The rich understand the power of company structures and the tax code and use every legal means they can to minimize their tax burden. Let's compare now how business owners and investors with corporations pay taxes to how most people pay tax. Business owners with a corporate structure first earn, then spend, and then pay taxes. Employees who work for corporations first earn, then pay taxes, and then spend what they have left. Notice that employees who work for somebody else spend their money post-tax, while business owners earn and spend before paying tax. Chapter 4 of this book also covers the 4 main components of what Kiyosaki calls financial IQ: accounting, investment strategy, market law, and law. As Rich Dad Poor Dad reminds us, understanding the legal and tax advantages significantly contribute to building long-term wealth. For instance, a corporation can pay expenses before paying taxes, whereas an employee gets taxed first and must try to pay expenses on what is left. Chapter 5. The rich invent money by finding opportunities. Inventing money means finding deals that other people don't have the skill, knowledge, resource, or contacts for. He explains there are 2 types of investors. Number 1. Investment packages are bought by people who entrust their money to a developer or fund manager. This is the way that most people invest, such as buying shares of an ETF or putting money into a real estate crowdfunding venture. Number 2. Professional investors look after their own investments, research the market to find deals that make sense, then hire professionals to manage their daily oversight. He said, some people argue that there are real estate bargains where they are, but there are prime opportunities everywhere that are overlooked. Most people aren't trained financially to recognize the opportunities that stands in front of them. Chapter 6. Work to learn and not for the money. Or as my mentor Jim Rohn used to say, work more on yourself than you do for your job. Poor Dad was intelligent and well educated and worked for the money because job security meant everything to him. Rich Dad became a millionaire by working to learn. As Kiyosaki writes, I recommend to young people to seek work for what they will learn more than what they will earn. Look down the road at what skills they need to acquire before choosing a specific profession and before getting trapped into the rat race. In fact, that's exactly what Kiyosaki did. He joined the Marines after graduating from college and learned the essential business skills of leading and managing people. After serving his country, Kiyosaki joined Xerox, overcome his fear of rejection to become one of the top 5 salespeople in the company, then left the corporate world to form his own business. Chapter 6 then discusses the synergy of management skills needed for success in business: cash flow management, system management, and of course, people management. Now, the best way to gather knowledge in 2023 is connecting you to a global learning platform. Here, I have some good news, as our friends from Skillshare give away 1 month of free access following the link down below. If you enjoyed this topic, strong hit on the thumbs up button and leave us a comment. Now it's time for the bonus. Find out how this book changed my life and other productivity hacks in the video link on screen or posted in the description below. We strongly suggest you read this book in its entirety, so we added order link down below. If you find value in our content, please support our channel and subscribe. Until next time, my dear friends, be legendary.